Hello guys, welcome to the fifth part of this series. So in the previous video we have created the login and register pages. So now in this video we are going to add the functionality of logging the user in to our website. So before we jump into the process, firstly let's go to the client folder, and we have to add here a package called React.js, if I am not wrong. So let's first make sure that it is the same package. So yes, it is React.js. So I'm going to copy this and I'll go to the command prompt and I will add here, and I will paste this package name. So this will give us functionality to have a very beautiful toast messages. So let me give you the demo. So if I'll go here and I will click here top left, top right, and I can actually adjust that, and I'll click here show toast. So as you can see, this is the beautiful toast message. So we can send back the feedback to the user that something went correct or something went wrong, right? So as you can see, it is being installed. So it has been installed. Now exit this. So before we jump into directly logging the user in, so firstly we have to validate the data of the user from the client side as well. Okay, so I'll go here and type like this: if credentials or if credentials.email or credentials.password is undefined, then we are going to show a toast messages. So let's see how to use that. I'll go back and I'll go to this npm package, to the npm website, and as you can see we have to import two things, that is these two lines. So I'll go up here and paste it here. So this looks fine, and we are going to have our toast container. So I'll give here toast container, and this will auto close in about like 2 seconds, as you can see. So this will have a method like so whenever we use this function, it is going to trigger this toast container. So I'll give here toast.error. So depending upon what type of message you want to send, so I will write a toast here, toast.error, please enter all the required fields, and I will simply return out of it. Okay, so similarly I'll go to the register here and I'll do the same thing here. If credentials.email, credentials.password, credentials.confirm password is undefined, then we are simply going to send back a toast message, right? So I'll copy this, paste it down there. Similarly I will have my toast container here as well, and this will have auto close functionality in 2 seconds. Similarly if this gets failed, I'm going to send back the message of error, and I'll write please enter all the required fields, and I'll return from this if statement. And we are also going to check for the if the credentials.password is equal to the credentials.confirm password, else we are going to write here toast.error password do not match, and I'll return. Okay, similarly let's go and test it out. So I'll go into my website, I'll go to the register function, and I'll create here an email address, and I will type the password which does not matches, right? So if I hit here register, so this is not working, I guess. So let's open our inspect element. If I click here register, it's still not working. I don't know why. So let's first print out if this works or not. So I will write here console dot log credentials. So if I hit register, yes, we are getting though. So this is not working, I guess. Oh, sorry, we need to firstly, here should be it's not equal to, right? So if I hit here register, as you can see, we are getting a beautiful toast message that password do not match. So this is working fine, and we can remove this line. So this is working fine, we have already seen. Now let's jump into making the request to our backend. Okay, so I'll go and create here a separate folder called context, and I'll create here a file called auth.context.js. Similarly, we are going to import a create context. Similarly, we are also going to create here auth context, and this is going to be a create context. Similarly, I'm going to export this out, auth context. Now I will create here a function called auth context provider, and this is going to take children as the prop, and I am going to return our auth context dot provider with the children, and we will pass here some of the values if you want to. So we'll have here user set user is equal to use state, and by default our user will be null. Okay, so similarly we will have here login request, and we'll have here register request. So let's first create login request. So I'll write here login user is equal to, so this is going to be a async function, and this is async, so we will have a try catch error, and if there were any error, just simply console.log that error. So in order to make request, we will use the fetch command. So I will write a request which fetch, and we'll make request to our backend, that is 8000/API/login, and this is going to have method of post. Similarly, this will have some headers like content type of application/JSON, if I'm not wrong, and then directly we will have the body, and this is going to be in the JSON format. So I'll write here JSON.stringify. so this will take some of the parameter like the user data, and this is going to spread it out the user data, and when we get the response back, we will use here the user is equal to await res.json, and we're simply going to console.log that user. So let's see this in action if this works or not for now. So I will pass here the value to be of let's suppose login user, and now let's go to our app.js file, and we will provide here auth context provider. So we have to export this as well, right? Export const auth context provider. So I'll go here and write auth context provider, and I'm going to wrap this up. So now that we have the auth context provider, now we can go to this login page and we can use this. So I'll write here, go here and use context, and we will use the auth context, and I am going to grab the login user function. If I'm not wrong, I have passed this, right? So I'm going to pass here login user. So now we can use this function here. So I'll write here login user, and we will have the credentials, email and then password. So let's see this in action, if this works or not. So if I hit refresh, and by the way, we need to, if we don't want that error message, right, so we will change the class from class name to every tag. So I'll write here class name, and I will correct this out. So if I hit refresh again, and we also need to change the for to HTML4. HTML4. If I hit refresh, as you can see, we need to change the navbar class name as well. So I'll go and change the every class name. So let me zoom in. And I'll go to the layer, hit refresh again, and as you can see, this is working fine and we are not getting that class name error messages. So I'll open my console again, clear this out, and if I'll hit here sajan@gmail.com, sajan, and it should not work because as you can see, we are getting error message of course origin request block. So how do we fix it? So this fix is pretty simple. You have to just import a library called course into our server. So I'll go here, open again a code, we'll go to the app.js, and we can simply use that course library, like app.use require course, and we'll simply call this, and this should work fine. So if I hit again login, as you can see, we are getting error of invalid email or password. So this was a simple fix, right? So let's now enter a valid password. So if I hit enter, I don't remember the password, by the way. I think this is it. So as you can see, we are getting the token. Now we will save this token into our local storage. So we will go here into the auth context, and we will check for the result. So we will check for the result, and this is going to be if result, if there is no error in the result, it means we have some success values, else we are simply going to for now console.log that result.error. But if there's no error, then we can simply store this into our local storage, right? So I'll go in here and I'll write local storage dot set item, and set item is going to be of let's see, token, and we will provide here our token, sorry, result dot token, if I'm not wrong, result dot token. So let's go here and see this in action. So if I hit enter here, if I go to the memory, storage, local storage will have here our token. So let me delete this. If I log in here, as you can see, our token is being saved. So now that we are saving our token, we can simply use this in later on this series to maintain user persistence. So this works fine for now, and we are also going to import the toast provider. Okay, so I'll write here const error set error use state null. So if there will be any error, we can simply set the error to be of result.error. Okay, and we are also going to have here toast provider, that is toast container, and this will auto close in 2 seconds. And we will simply do this toast dot error, right here set error to be of result dot error, and we will have here error. And similarly we will set back this to null. So let's see this in action, if this works or not. So I'll write email correct and password. So if I hit enter, this does not work because we need to import the CSS, I guess. If I hit again refresh, so this is not working. So we are checking for the error right here. If I do a console.log result sajan@gmail.com sajan, if I hit enter, as you can see, we are getting 25 result, right? So I am setting the error to result.error, and I am going to make this toast.error to be of error. So why is this not working? We are also setting the error message. Let's see this if the state updates or not. So we'll go to the login page, and auth context provider, and here both the state is null. So as you can see, our state is not getting updated. As you can see, our state is not getting updated. So in order to update this state, I guess we should use this function. Okay, for now let's skip this part, we'll do this later on. So I'll just remove this. So now let's jump into creating the registration. So I'll go to the register here, and similarly I'll go to the auth context, and I'll create here a register request like const register user is equal to async user data, and I'm going to wrap this up with try catch. Similarly, I'm going to make the response to the register. Localhost 8000/API/register, and this will be same. I'll copy this paste it here, and the method will be post. Headers is going to be same, and we'll wrap the user data. So now we'll have the result is equal to await res.json. Similarly, we'll have this if conditional statement. So if this gets updated, then we are simply going to console.log that result. Let's see if this works or not. So I'll go to the create one here, and I'll create a new one, like let's suppose manish@gmail.com, manish, and we'll go to the console. If I hit register, so okay, we need to integrate this here, right? So I will use a context. So is equal to use context, auth context, and we have to also pass this function into our value field, and we'll grab it here, and simply we are going to register the user by passing the credentials, right? But we don't want this confirm password field, right? So what we can do is const user data is equal to spread the credentials, but we are going to make the confirm password to be of undefined, and then we're going to pass this data, and let's see this if this works or not. So I'll clear this up. I'll register here a new user. If I hit enter, as you can see, we are getting some kind of error. Let's see this. What does it tell? Go to the network. So it's saying bad request. Okay, let's see this. What we have messed up. http localhost 8000/api/register. So we are getting some kind of an error. If I go to the console, it's saying bad request. If I'll do it gmail.com, so it's again telling us the bad request. So we will go to the, so let's see the response: invalid email or password. So I think we have messed up in the registration field. So I'll open my Visual Studio Code here, and we'll go to the routes and auth. Similarly, as you can see, there's nothing we have messed up here, right? Because this is register and we have this API. Register user API / register method of post. Similarly, we'll have, okay, let's console.log the result. I'll do it. Please enter all the required fields. So what were the required fields? we have the name, email and passwords. Oh sorry, I forget to add the name field here. So this is a pretty quick fix that we can do. So I'll go here and copy this, paste it here. Similarly we are going to change this from to name input, and we'll have this name text. We'll remove this field and the value will be name, and we're going to change here to name. Similarly placeholder will be John Doe. We'll change your name. If I go here, as you can see our name is working. So if I'll write here like Sajan Korn, or let's create a new user like Manish Korn, manish@gmail.com, manish. If I hit enter, as you can see we are successfully getting the user registered, right? So as you can see the registration process is also working fine. So now in the next video we will see how to maintain the login user persistence with the token, and we'll also create a separate route for that which lets user to make post request to that route and have the login persistence. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.